trying to get ready for a bowl game, you're trying to keep your players, you're trying to look for players. Has it ever been this busy for you at this time of the year?
No, I think you hit December and you get right into the roster management retention piece, and then you have your signing day. So you're recruiting your high school guys to sign, and you used to be on the road doing that. You're doing that from your offices now. And then signing day ends, and now okay, here's the guys that are coming back, here's the guys that are going in the portal, and now you start recruiting the portal. And so you're going through that piece, and 6,300 guys, to look at. It's a lot of film. And then you're getting ready for a bowl game, so you're starting to game plan your opponent for us, ECU, and building out your practices, your calendar. And by the way, the guys are in finals and did a great job. Really proud of our team. And 71 guys over a 3.0 this semester, which is a record. So really proud of them, and thankful to Ashley and her team in our academic center. And by the way, you also have your kids home and your wife if you're married, and you're trying to have family time, right? So you're balancing a lot. And in some cases like ours, there's staff openings, and so you're behind the scenes either interviewing people or talking to guys on your staff. So there's a lot. It's multitasking at its finest right now, and I'm looking forward to just getting to the bowl, to be honest, and coaching. It'll be fun just to get there and be a part of that with the families, the coaches, the players, and get into that competition.
Roster retention, you mentioned you guys are able to be pretty successful in keeping a lot of people around. What kind of went into that from your point of view and be able to keep the amount of guys you did?
Well, I think it speaks to our team, our culture, our family, the level of treatment that they get here, how we develop people. They know they're getting better. I think they enjoy the daily interactions. They see the progress. They're excited about what's happening within the walls. And there's trust, and I think when you don't have those things, that's when you see, and I will say this, the portal is good for some guys. It is. I think it's great when a guy's been on your team for 3 or 4 years, he's graduated, he's not playing, and he wants to get on the field in his last year. Yeah, let's try to help you do that. And so there are positives to it as well. I think the biggest issue, and it's been well said by a lot of coaches, is the timing of this with the bowl games and how it's impacting teams' abilities to field a team in some cases, but to have it too deep in other cases. It's really challenging, and it's not, to me, college athletics and really athletics in general, I don't think you could ever see a coach and not hear him say that finish isn't important. Like the word finish means something in athletics, and it means something in business. And our calendar is set up to prevent that in some cases for the athletes, for the teams, and so hopefully, we can get some really good people together after the season and come up with a better way to serve everybody involved in this thing, because it needs to happen. Like for college football, it needs to happen for these bowl games, for these teams, for these coaches, for the players. They need to have a calendar that, to me, allows finish, and you see it in the NFL. I mean, their teams are together until their seasons are over. Their coaches are together until their seasons are over, I know it's a different calendar because they don't have academics involved, but there are ways to be, smart about serving the season, and I think that's really important for these athletes to be in a model that does that.
They did adjust the December calendar slightly by moving signing day up. What impact do you think that had, if any?
None.
Yeah,
I don't think it impacted us at all. I mean, it may have with other teams that dropped kids before the portal. We don't do that. But I didn't see any advantage to that, But we'll see where it goes.
What are the thoughts on the JUCO rule?
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of time to process it. I'm happy for the guys on our team that get a benefit from that. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of questions. As you know, every decision has unintended consequences as well, and I haven't seen what those are yet. But there's guys on our team that are from junior colleges that are excited today. They know they have another year or two of eligibility to finish a degree, to start a master's, to play with their brothers, and have the option of moving on to the NFL or staying for an extra year or two.
How important is it to finish off this year with the win and get that good taste in your mouth and
Yeah.
heading towards next year?
Yeah, it's really important. You know, it's been a long time, and we started off here with a bunch of bowl wins, you know, and it was just, and then we had a bunch of one possession bowl losses with a lot of players, good players. Some didn't play in games, and like last year K-State game, I mean, there was 45 guys between the two teams that didn't play. You look at how many guys were in the portal and injured and so on. So I think the bowl dynamic has changed a lot. And so to answer your question, I want to be on that stage. There's no question about it. It's not about the opponent. It's not. It's about winning a bowl game. And it helps momentum, but to me it's more about closure, you know, for the season that you were just in and finishing it with an exclamation point.
I know that this is a time where players get to shine that might not earlier in the season. You mentioned a couple of players last week that stood out. Are there any this week that kind of stood out?
Yeah, I've been impressed. Josh Alexander on defense has gotten a lot of reps because we've rested some guys, and he's really gotten better. Jonathan Taylor's gotten a lot better. He's been an athlete the whole time, but you can see the improvement in his route running and his ball catching. He's always been fast, super competitive. But those two things have been fun to watch, you know, for us to see that. And a guy that's taken reps all year that's gotten a lot better, Lex Thomas. I mean, I said this before UNC, I thought it was his best week of practice, and he's continuing, you know, to get better. And so that's what's so important about the bowl for the team, you know, is the visual for the coaches to see where these guys are at, and then to be able to provide really honest feedback going into the offseason for them.
Is this a time too where CJ can really continue to stamp his mark on the team as this is my team? You know?
Oh, he's been doing that. I mean, that doesn't change at quarterback, and obviously his confidence just grows as he plays more and more. But that's been happening for a while. Yeah.
What's the process been like to get to know, you know, not to say any specific players, but to get to know some players who maybe a week ago you didn't know exist? But that's the calendar
about
that you've been
visitors?
forced with.
Talking about like transfers.
Yeah, just you know, the speed dating nature of
Yeah.
adding players late in the process.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we've had, I don't know how many, but over 10, you know, in the last 2 weeks come through here, and they're not high school visits where they're there for 48 hours. They're literally going from school to school to school because their window's tight too. And so you may get them for 24 hours, 36, at the most 48, and you're doing as much as you can before they get here. So know that too, like you're calling people you know that know them and trying to get as much detail about these guys as you can. Because the last thing for them we want is for not to fit either. You know, I mean, I don't want to bring a guy here and he doesn't fit our culture. Like that's not good for him. And so we're trying to figure that out. You know, who is this guy? How's he wired? What's he like in the weight room? How does he handle adversity? All those things. Obviously, you're studying film and transcripts, but who the guy is? You know, trying to figure that out with phone calls and conversations, and then you get them here, and there's a lot of eyes on them. And there's a lot of conversation, and then they're off to the next school, or they're making a decision. You know, so it's crazy. It's different.
Yesterday we talked to Travali, and he spoke so highly of Coach Autry Lindsay. How have you seen the team kind of embrace Freddie and his role in that?
Yeah, you know, Freddie's done a great job. One of the things he does for us is our freshman focus, which is teaching guys about NC State and the culture of our team when they get here for that first semester. And so he has a special relationship with all the kids that have been here since he's been doing that. And that's going on 3 years that we've had this program. And so it's both sides of the ball. These guys know him differently because he spends time with them. And obviously he's an alum. So, you know, this is important to him, whether he's the coordinator or not, to do the best that he can for all these guys. And he genuinely cares about them. So it's been fun to see him doing that, and Isaiah Moore in a new role doing that as well. As a former position coach, defensive coach, I'm enjoying watching it.
You guys will play in the Military Bowl next week. You have a couple of staff members that have previously served, and is it kind of special to be able to share that moment with them next week?
Yeah, you know, I talked to those guys during our Military Appreciation Week. I haven't talked to them leading up to this game about it, but I do know how much that meant to them, you know, and obviously being at Annapolis, I think it would be cool for everybody, but for guys that served, a lot extra probably for them. and the pageantry of it.
Even in the midst of the transfer portal, you've always been a big advocate of high school recruiting. With the JUCO ruling, do you see that playing any effect with
Yeah,
that effect?
no, I do. I mean, it's like you're recruiting a prep school or a mission trip player now that comes in 2 years older with the same eligibility as a high school player. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on the junior colleges, and I don't know if that'll help their enrollment now or what, you know. But it's unique to be able to take a guy that's now going to be 20 instead of 18 that has the same eligibility, and he's been developed a little bit. He's played more. So yeah, I see a lot of benefit in that.
That's one.
Thoughts on Dave Clausen? I know you've competed.
Yeah. I texted Dave when I saw it. I'm gonna miss competing against him. He's we've known each other since the MAC, and we've had a lot of good games against each other. I have a lot of respect for Dave, and obviously he did a tremendous job for Wake Forest, and it sounds like they're gonna keep him around in an advisory role, which is great for him. But yeah, I mean, I wish him nothing but the best, and I know he and I will have a friendship well beyond coaching years. But he did a great job there, and put a lot of good players out, had a lot of good teams, came up with a scheme that was really hard to play against, and so he did a heck of a job there.